The night she whispered those words, I felt my heart stop. It wasn't because of what she said, it was because of what it meant. The room was dim, lit only by a soft lamp on the corner table. Outside, the rain tapped gently against the windows of the small townhouse in Columbus, Ohio. I had agreed to come over as a favor, nothing more. A simple favor for my best friend, Marcus. His younger sister, Rachel, had been going through a rough breakup, and her shoulders had locked up from stress. Marcus knew I had completed a certified sports massage course during college to help pay tuition. He begged me to stop by and help her relax. I never expected the night to change everything. Before we dive deeper into this story, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet ways people heal each other, take a second to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that even small moments can transform lives. Rachel had always been off limits in my mind, not because she wasn't beautiful, she was. Auburn hair that caught the light, freckles scattered across her nose, and a strength in her eyes that came from surviving more than most people knew. But she was Marcus's little sister. And Marcus wasn't just my best friend, he was the guy who pulled me out of my darkest year when my dad passed away unexpectedly. Loyalty meant everything to me. When I walked into her townhouse that evening, the first thing I noticed wasn't the decor or the soft instrumental music playing from her phone. It was the exhaustion in her face. She tried to smile, but it barely reached her eyes. Her ex-boyfriend, Tyler, had left 2 months earlier, walked out after 3 years together. No closure. No explanation beyond I need something different. She had built her future around him. Now she was rebuilding from scratch. She sat on the edge of the couch, wrapped in an oversized gray sweater. I could see the tension in her posture, the way her shoulders curved inward, like she was bracing against something invisible. I kept everything professional, calm, focused. I set up a portable massage table Marcus had dropped off earlier and talked her through the process gently, explaining each step to make sure she felt safe and comfortable, because that's what this was about. Comfort, healing, nothing else. As I worked on her shoulders, I felt how tight they were, knotted with months of anxiety, sleepless nights, and silent tears. She didn't say much at first, just breathed, slowly, carefully, like she was afraid even breathing too deeply might hurt. I focused on steady pressure, slow movements. My hands remembered what my mind tried to forget, how human touch, when given with respect and care, can remind someone they're not alone. After about 20 minutes, her breathing changed. It softened. I could feel the tension slowly melt under my hands. And then, out of nowhere, she spoke. Her voice was barely above a whisper, fragile but honest. "You're better than my ex." The words hung in the air like something sacred. I froze, not physically but emotionally. It wasn't flirtation, it wasn't seduction, it was comparison, painful, vulnerable comparison. She wasn't talking about massage technique, she was talking about care, about attention, about being seen. In that moment, I realized something that unsettled me. Tyler had never really touched her like this, not physically, but emotionally. He had been present, but absent. There, but not invested. And here I was, just trying to help, and somehow giving her more than she'd received in years. The room felt smaller, the air heavier. My mind raced with one thought, Marcus, the unspoken rule, the line you never cross. I finished the session carefully, professionally, helping her sit up slowly. Her eyes were red, not from crying, but from something close to it. Relief, maybe, or the realization that someone had finally handled her with gentleness instead of expectation. She thanked me quietly, not dramatically, not romantically, just sincerely. I left that night with a storm inside me. For days I couldn't shake the memory of her voice, the weight of her words. I told myself it meant nothing. She was vulnerable, she was hurting, she would move on. But life has a strange way of pulling two people into the same orbit when they're meant to collide. Over the next few weeks, Marcus invited me over several times. Game nights, barbecues, casual weekends. Rachel was always there, slowly coming back to life. She laughed more. She started applying for new jobs. She cut her hair shorter, like she was shedding the past. And every time our eyes met, there was something unspoken. Not tension, understanding. One evening, after Marcus left to grab food, Rachel and I ended up alone on the porch. The sun was setting over the quiet suburban street, painting everything in soft gold. She thanked me again for that night, but this time she elaborated. She said that it wasn't the massage that stayed with her. It was the respect, the way I kept checking in, the way I treated her like she mattered. She told me Tyler had made her feel invisible toward the end, like an accessory instead of a partner. I listened, not as Marcus's friend, not as some hero, just as a man who had learned the hard way how fragile hearts can be. Because after my father died, I had shut down. I pushed people away. I almost lost friendships that meant everything. Marcus had stayed. He had shown up over and over. And now here I was, standing at the edge of something that could either deepen our bond or destroy it. I wrestled with guilt for weeks. I even considered distancing myself from both of them. But avoidance never solves anything. It just delays the truth. One Saturday afternoon, I asked Marcus to meet me at our usual coffee shop downtown. My hands trembled around my cup as I told him everything. Not dramatically, not defensively, just honestly. I told him I felt something growing. I told him I didn't want to betray him. I told him I would walk away if it meant protecting our friendship. He stared at me for a long time. Then he surprised me. He said he had seen it coming. He said Rachel deserved someone who treated her the way I did that night, and he said the only thing that would hurt him was secrecy. That conversation changed everything. It didn't make things instantly easy. Rachel and I moved slowly, painfully slowly. Coffee dates turned into long walks by the Scioto Mile. Long walks turned into deeper conversations. We didn't rush physical affection. We built something on trust first. And every step of the way, I remembered that whisper. You're better than my ex. Not because I was extraordinary, but because I chose to care. The real challenge wasn't winning her heart. It was earning it without taking advantage of her vulnerability. It was proving that I wasn't just a rebound. That I was steady, reliable, present. A year later, we stood in the same townhouse where it all began. The rain was falling again. Just like that first night. Only this time, there was laughter echoing through the rooms. Marcus was there, teasing us about how awkward we used to be. Rachel's eyes were brighter than I had ever seen them. Healing doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like small, consistent kindness. Sometimes it looks like hands that refuse to harm. Before I share the final moment of this story, I want to ask you something from the heart. If this journey has touched you in any way, if you believe that respect and patience still matter in relationships, please engage with this video. Like it, share it, and let me know your thoughts. And right now, I have a special request. Comment the word healing if you believe love should feel safe. Because that's what I learned that night. Love isn't about grand gestures. It isn't about being better than someone else. It's about being better than who you were yesterday. It's about showing up with integrity when no one is watching. Rachel didn't fall for me because I replaced her ex. She fell because I never tried to. And as I stood there watching her smile, really smile, I realized something powerful. The most life-changing moments don't come with fireworks. They come with whispers. And if you listen closely, those whispers can lead you exactly where you're meant to be.